And take it away. I don't know who wants to speak next.
We have so much to say that maybe I'll just introduce everybody very quickly. Anna Botta is the chair of our department. And then there's me and Simone, who today are here as because we are teaching the elementary level courses. And the guests of honor are Guido and Monica, who are live from Florence. It's much later for them. So thank you so much for being here. And this is very exciting because they will be speaking about a lot of the new things about the program. Guido will talk, he's the academic director. He will talk about courses that you will be taking at the Smith Center and at the University of Florence. And then Monica will talk about, who is also the director in Florence. She will be talking about life in the city now, especially in the light of all the changes that have occurred in the last few months. Okay, and also we have Juliet and I think Lisa. I don't know if she's here yet, but they are seniors and they were there in Florence recently. So we also want to make sure we have some time to ask them a few questions and just to say what they have to see what they have to say about their experience. Okay, so I only have to tell you basically things that you already know, unless you are a first year student or you haven't started studying Italian yet. So it's good for you, but I'll be very quick and I'm going to share, just one second. See, I've been off for too long now.
Yeah, it's easy to forget.
I know. Okay, do you see my screen?
See?
Okay, so I divided the audience in 3 groups. So if you're here, you are either a sophomore who is applying right now to go in the fall of this year or for the entire academic year, or a junior, maybe you applied last year but couldn't go, and so you are reapplying now to go in the fall of next year as a senior. So you have, I'm guessing you have all already taken your language courses, which are the elementary 110 or 111 and the intermediate, which is 220. If you have not taken 250, you will be taking 250 now in the semester that is about to start in spring 2021. And this is all. If you are a senior, or if you would be a senior next year, and you've taken all these courses, we recommend you to sign up for 235 so that you can keep practicing the language. 235 is not a requirement, but it is highly recommended. It's a 2-credit course and it can be repeated twice. If you are also applying now as a sophomore and thinking that you will spend spring of next year in Florence, again, you probably have completed already both language courses, 110 or 111 and 220. What you must take before you go to Florence is 245 in the fall of 2021. 250 is not a requirement, but we highly recommend 250 because it just makes sense to keep taking Italian until you are ready to leave for Florence. If for whatever reason there's no room in your schedule for 250 this spring, we recommend that you still take some Italian, which would be the 245, the conversation course, so that you don't take too long of a break before the fall. Also, if anybody here is a sophomore who has only taken the elementary course, probably 111 this past fall, there is still time to catch up because we offer 220 every semester. So 220 is also offered in the spring now, that is about to start. And so with 220 now and 245 in the fall, you'll be eligible to go. Now, first year students, I see there's a few here who are taking 110 right now with me, or have taken 111 or about to take 111 with Simone. What you need to do after the elementary, again, is 220, the intermediate course. Again, it's offered every semester. It makes more sense to take it in the fall of next year, but if for whatever reason you cannot, you can catch up later and take it in the spring. And then again, 250 if you're going to apply for the fall or for the entire academic year, or 245 if you're thinking of applying for the spring semester. Again, if you take 245, still 250, the previous semester is not a requirement, but highly recommended. Again, all the conversation courses are not a requirement, but you should really make an effort to take as many as you can. 235 is not a requirement, like I said, but it can be taken twice, and the content of this course is different every semester. So if you take it a second time, everything that will be done in that course will be different. It's a 2-credit course. And if you actually take it twice and later decide to major in Italian, the 235 together will count as one of the courses required to complete your major. If you have questions about language courses or requirements, you can contact me or Simone, or of course, anybody else in the department. Now I'm gonna pass it to Guido or Monica. I'm not sure who's gonna go first.
I'm going first. We have the presentation of our center and the neighborhood. So,
shall I start sharing my screen, Monica, with the presentation of the center?
Yes, please, Guido. Grazie.
Just 1 second. Coming.
We are.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so let's get started.
Guido, we can't see the PowerPoint.
We can't see the PowerPoint. Yeah.
Can you not?
No, we can see your folder where the file is living, but we can't see the PowerPoint.
Let's start again. Sorry, I'm starting again. I can see it, but you cannot. Let me see again.
No.
No. Well, always some hiccups.
We have tried 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, we have been testing that before.
We tested it. Okay, anyway.
Maybe you can open it before, Guido, you can open the PowerPoint before sharing the screen.
Before sharing the screen.
There we go.
It's not working? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it should be starting. Be a little bit patient more. Okay, can you see it?
Yes.
Oh, here we are. This is the building where our center is located. It's in the center of Florence, but not in the touristy center. It's also a residential neighborhood. Very nice. And our center is very spacious, as you will see from the pictures. Can you scroll down, Guido, please. Grazie. So here's the historic building where we are located. And here we are. This is the main door. This is the main hall. You already see all the sanitizers to wash the hands as soon as you come in. We will have masks and everything is needed to protect ourselves. This is Botticelli welcoming us. Very nice. And you can see the picture of Alan Nilsson. Oh, okay. We have also the picture of President Nilsson, who in 1931, so 90 years ago, founded the Smith Center in Florence. It's the first American program who was opened in Italy. So those students who will come next fall or in the spring will celebrate with us the 90th anniversary of the program. So this is also the hall. It's Palazzo Vecchio. Scroll, Guido. Oh, this is my office. I'm having coffee. I love coffee. It's always time for coffee. This is Guido's office. Less nice, Guido, because academic stuff is less nice than coffee.
Yeah, right. Thank you very much.
It's a joke. This is the main classroom. We have lots of space, so we will be able to accommodate the students in safety with the distance that is requested. As you can see, the classroom is full of lights and overlooking a very nice garden, and it's also very quiet. This is the library where students can study. They don't used to read the book so much, but they study with their laptops and they relax. You see the couches there. It's a very nice place to stay. And also we have a computer lab. Here it is. It has a very nice view on the Renaissance garden. So we hope to welcome you. Here is the garden. And this is the street. Here is Piazza Michelangelo with the fake David, because the real David is in the Museum of the Accademia. So anyway, the situation with the pandemic in Florence now in the region of Tuscany is pretty good. Shops are open. We can go out. There's curfew from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. Schools are open, the university is open, and even if students have the choice of taking classes remotely, but there are also classes on site. Libraries are open and people are going out. I have to say that people are very aware of the situation and they're very responsible. So they maintain the distancing and they do whatever is needed, and everybody is wearing masks. The city of Florence is very well organized. They have implemented the bus system, so it's also very safe to take a bus. And they have done a wonderful thing. They have built many, many bike paths, so people can also rent a bicycle. There's a bike sharing. And Florence is, I shouldn't say this, but there are not that many tourists, and it's very nice in this period. And we believe that there won't be many tourists next fall and in the spring. So students who will come to Florence will have the possibility to enjoy the city that also has the larger pedestrian. The center of Florence is the largest pedestrian area in Europe. And if you come, you will have the possibility to interact more with locals, because if there are less students, less tourists, of course, it's easier, and enjoy the city. Regarding the program itself, there won't be as many changes. There won't be many changes. We hope that the situation will be good enough to allow us to take at least some excursions outside of Florence, even if they excursions and not maybe longer excursions, and to do labs and to do all the extracurricular activities that we used to do in the past. We also hope to be able to offer all the students, as we did in the past, the volunteer opportunities and the internship opportunities, because it is also a good way of becoming part of the community. Regarding the homestays, there has been a change starting this year, right, Lisa? Because the college has approved for students the choice of both living in homestays with locals, with Italian families, with breakfast and dinner, or sharing an apartment with other students. So those of you who are coming starting next fall, you will have the possibility to choose between homestays and apartments. This is a big change, because for 90 years, all the students have always lived in homestays. But I think this is a good change, because not everybody is cut for the homestay situation. Anyway, if students will be in an apartment, they will still have the opportunity to meet Italians, especially at the University of Florence. Regarding the situation with health, we are working to make it possible to operate in complete safety, as I said. We also have an agreement with private doctors who are connected with public hospitals. And the agreement, I'm sure, will be implemented because now there are some students from other programs, so they will try the system, and anything that needs to be changed will be changed. So we are sure that we will offer you all the, I mean, to come and to be safe. We're working for that. I think I said everything, Lisa. Nothing, anything to add? What do you think?
Sounds like you've covered everything.
Yeah. So we hope to welcome you. If you have any questions, you're welcome to send us an email. There will be our email address from Guido and myself. So any questions are welcome. Any doubts, we are here and we hope to see you. We are very happy to welcome the new group of students. We cannot wait to have students again in Florence and enjoy their presence and share with them everything nice we have in Florence and everything we can offer. So hope to see you.
Can I jump in? Yeah. Okay, good. So first of all, thank you very much, all of you, for joining this presentation. It's a virtual presentation. We're just sorry that it's just virtual. We wish we could have you all in presence, but it's not possible at all at the moment. And I have to say ciao to Juliet and Lisa. Sorry, because I mean, just we have been with them for half a year. They are not being very lucky because they had to be relocated back home when they were starting an adventure to the University of Florence. But I mean, just there will be other chances. But thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for joining us tonight. I will just try to give you Monica.
May I also say hi to Juliet and Lisa, because I didn't say anything.
Oh.
Well deserved, they do deserve that. Yeah, thank you very much. Grazie mille.
Grazie.
And yeah, as Lisa and Maria already said, there will be slight changes in the program, or important changes in the program in terms of courses that students can take at the Smith Center and at the university. We are trying to encourage our students to take more courses at the university. So I have prepared a short presentation, which is normal with when it comes to academics. So I'm trying to share with you just to give you an idea of what you will have the opportunity, the chance to take once you will get here. So let me just share my screen. Okay, sorry. Again, okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
With the
Yeah.
presentation? Okay, good. So here, I try to be as concise, as brief as we can, because we would like to save as much time for your questions, and would like to ask Juliet and Lisa if they want to jump in and to add something to tell us more about their experience if they want. Obviously, don't feel obliged to do that. So this is the academics as you see, that's the entrance of our center, and this is the fall semester. Basically, what you would at the Smith Center, you will take the advanced Italian language class, which is mandatory. That's mandatory, and along with that, you will have the chance to take either 1 or 2 additional Smith courses taken taught at our venue, at the sede, which is the apartment that we show you before. What are the courses available on top of the Italian one in the fall term? You will have the chance to take either an art history class whose title is there. And I'm very proud to say that out of the many study abroad programs that are active, not at the moment, because of the pandemic situation, just few programs will have students in the spring. But out of all the programs actively operating in Florence, we are really proud to be able to offer this Renaissance Art History course, which is not a survey. It's a very particular approach to the single monuments in Florence, and our faculty will be dealing with the monument, and just from that monument, starting from a monument, it will be the story of what's inside of that church or that museum. And then you have a history class, which I teach myself, and it's a cultural and social history of Italy from the great immigration back in the end of the 19th century to nowadays. Juliet and Lisa, they took it, and they didn't have much fun, as I remember. No, joking. And remember that we're still in the fall term. In the fall term, you can take courses at the University of Florence, which is quite a novelty for us. It's a new introduction to that. You can take 1 or 2 courses, depending on your language level and your academic interests, obviously. And some of the courses are taught in English, some of them. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But remember that all courses taken at university must be approved by your academic advisor. So you cannot just, we'll have to discuss about the courses, the classes that you would have in mind to take, and then we'll have to approve your choices. These 2 pictures refer to the new campus, which has been built. How much time was that? 10 years ago. When was that? Yeah, roughly by the end of the 10th, which is 2009, if I'm not wrong, was inaugurated. That's the venue of the School of Economics, and they take political science courses as well, which is outside of the city center, but is very contemporary, very modern institution, whereas all the other departments and school in University of Florence, they don't think of the ideal campus that you have. They're scattered in different areas of the city, which is a peculiar aspect of how university work in Italy. As for the spring semester, we just moved to the spring semester. At the Smith course, at the Smith Center, you will take as a mandatory one a similar class that the one offered in the fall. It's an advanced Italian language class. The students coming just for the spring, they may take 2 additional classes offered at the Smith Center, whereas those who had arrived in the fall, they are required to take at least 1 Smith courses. They may take, if they want, they may take 3 courses at the University of Florence. As for the courses available, it's a larger offer in the spring. We have, on top of the Italian language courses I mentioned before, you have another very interesting and probably unique course that, again, we are probably the only program offering that. It's it's focusing on the workshops where all the young and promising painters and artists were just educated in Florence back at the end of the 15th and the beginning of the 16th century. And then you have a history of fashion and costume, completely different perspective to what's typical in Italy. Then you have a class which is a course in which we work on the adaptation of great works of Italian literature to cinema. So it's in between cinema and literature. We work on adaptation here. These are the 3 courses that students are allowed to pick if they want to take 1, 2, or 3 courses, depending on whether they are for the year or for the semester. This is the library, the modern library of the campus. I showed you a picture before, and this is the logo you will see coming up, the logo of the University of Florence, Università degli Studi di Firenze. And this is another picture and a larger size of the same picture that I showed you before. And some information about very quickly, I don't want to take your time. And as we said, you can take up to 3 courses taught in Italian if you are able to attend those classes. But let's not forget again, even for the spring, that some courses are taught in English. I will give you some examples. I will provide you some examples of the kind of courses that are currently taught in English, and even the exams are being taken in English. So it's just easy for you. And again, I would like to insist on that, on the fact that all the courses that you decide to take at university, they have to be approved by the academic advisors, me, and if it's the case, even from by your major advisor when applicable. Speaking of the faculty at the University of Florence, because obviously they do not belong to the teaching body of Smith. They have nothing to do with us. We've been working with some of them. I have to say that they're really usually very available, flexible, and the vast majority of them keen on adjusting on our needs. Meaning what? Meaning that, I'll give you an example. If some of you have to begin to start an internship in the US at the beginning of June, in many occasions, Monica can confirm that, we had the chance to ask those colleagues at the University of Florence, some of which we know very well, they tend to offer us the chance to have an anticipation of the date of the exams, which is a privilege. They don't do that for everybody. And we have to say that regardless of the fact that they can speak English or not, they are very used to deal with international students coming from Far East or South America, from Europe in general, and from the Erasmus Students Program, which is a European program of exchange among different universities. They are very dealing with international students is not a big deal to them. They're used to it, especially when it comes to classes taken at the political science school. That's the easiest way to take a class. And I have to say that, being very honest, I don't want to praise or to self-advertise Smith students. They all, Monica, correct me if I'm wrong, they always, because they can compare, they compare the Smith students to students coming from other programs, because they do have students coming from other programs, or international students, or students from within the frame of the Erasmus program. Sometimes they don't speak Italian. That's why, and they always insist on the fact that our students are always dedicated, academically very rigorous. And I have to say that it's not, I mean, just I would be lying if I said that, and very committed, completely committed. And they say that. It happened, Monica, you can confirm that again, many times that when we had a conversation with colleagues from the university, they were surprised how committed and well prepared were our students, or were, and I'm confident that they will be. Again, what are the schools where our students can take courses from? Here you have the schools we have an agreement with, and agriculture, economics and management, engineering, humanities, education, obviously, and mathematical, physical, and natural sciences, political science, and I am stressing that because that school is the one offering the highest number of courses taught in Italian and in English. Sometimes they have the same course mirrored by the English version. I will give you a series of examples of the kind of courses that you can take from the political science school called Cesare Alfieri. And we are working, Monica and I, we are constantly working to add more schools in the future, because some of the schools are capped in Italy. Even Italian students, they cannot access those schools unless they take an exam. So that's just to give an example, law school, for example, or medicine school, all the schools that revolve around the health, they are closed numbers. So just we cannot offer
architecture,
architecture again. These three schools, but we're working. No one is saying that in the future we'll not be able to offer the chance to take courses even from those. We have good connections in those fields as well. And some examples, I picked government-related courses for the reason I was mentioning before, because in that school, they tend to offer the highest number of courses taught entirely in English. These are just examples. Let me just scroll them very quickly, and you will see just very catchy titles, and they're very intriguing, the vast majority of them, and they're very interesting at the same time. And of course, you see, just these are just examples. These are just examples of what you can find at the School of Political Science. Last but not least, I wanted to mention something about tutors. Obviously, we are not leaving you on your own, because we do have tutors, and we can just have tutors for both just the preparation of the final exam, or to help you to study, to prepare throughout the entire semester. And they are always available. They're always available. And where do we pick those tutors from? They are former students of the University of Florence. The vast majority of them, they are former students of the political science school, and they are taking a master's, or they are completing a PhD, or they have completed those two qualifications at the University of Florence. And as I said, they can be hired. It depends on you. It depends on what's the need and the requirements of our students. They want to be helped and supported while they are just prepared, because it's different. It works in a different way, the university in Italy. They don't assign you homework on a weekly basis. You have just the final exam and that's it. So it's up to you, the preparation and the work week by week. That's why sometimes we need a tutor to help you to build a system of study, something that may help you just not to fall behind. Okay, that's what it is. I think that's it. Here, that's the classroom in the usual setting, and we'll be using with the social distancing. We'll be able to seat maximum up to 15 students in that large classroom, which is large, obviously, relatively to the size of our center. If you want to be in touch with us, if you want to ask any kind of information, if you like to pop an email, do not hesitate. Here you have the email contacts of both Monica and myself. I will share with this presentation with the Dean Johnson, and if you want, you can just contact me, and I can just share that with you. For any reason, we're here to help. Remember that we're here, and we're here ready and very happy to ask any kind of question you might be willing to ask. Thank you very much. I think I'm done, and hope that I didn't take too much time. Shall I pass the ball to you, Lisa, or to Maria?
Lisa, maybe you want to say just a few words about requirements in terms of visa, passports, and what happens this summer.
Sure. I think before we get to that level of conversation, I'd like to remind everybody, if you're planning on study abroad during 2021, 2022, that application deadline is coming up on February 1st. So be sure that you're requesting your language recommendations now, your academic recommendations now, you're working on your plan of study to map out your 8 semesters and fit study abroad into that. If you were planning on being abroad this year and are planning to go abroad as a senior, you need to also submit the senior year elsewhere form to the class dean's office and stuff. So try to do that as well at or around the same time that you're planning to submit your study abroad application. We're hoping to let students know whether or not they've been accepted to the program probably mid to late March and stuff. With that said, the college continues to do monitoring of the COVID situation and stuff, and we'll be doing that again. Obviously, for the students interested in going to the fall, we'll be monitoring those situations and making sure that the conditions are such that the college feels comfortable enough to have students abroad. So we'll keep you posted as much as we can for that. If you are accepted to the program and you confirm your participation there will be a visa process. I don't, to be honest, know exactly what that's going to look like. Normally, we gather all of the passports and I take them in person to the Italian consulate in Boston. And I need to look into that to see if that process is the same. And if it is, how the students who are not going to be on campus are going to get their passports to me. But to know that there is a visa process, you have to apply for a visa before you go to Italy. And then once you're in Italy, you get a residence permit and so on and so forth. So that's a little bit down the road. And we'll, again, keep you as informed and updated as possible as we figure out the details.
Great, thank you. So maybe we can pause here to see if there's any questions. Gabby.
I had a question just as I've been filling out my plan of study and hopefully doing the senior year elsewhere form. So on like the Smith and Florence website page, there's like the fall semester course requirements with like an orientation course, and it talks about auditing a course at the university. So I was wondering if that is still happening or if that's changed.
Okay, so the website, I believe, I haven't checked, but I believe hasn't been updated. And so the new information is everything you've heard today. So don't refer to the website yet, but to what you've heard today.
And I haven't had a chance to update the website because some of these changes were just confirmed recently. And so, but they will be changed by the end of this week. And I feel like we're still offering the orientation course, but I'm not 100% sure with that. Guido and Monica and Maria, what's your understanding?
Well, we don't know. What I understand that with the new model, Gabby, what you read about the class observation will now not be offered, because if we assume, as we said, that a student will be taking a course at the university for credits, it's needless, because in the past, as Lisa and Juliet can confirm, you would go on a weekly basis to attend the class as an auditor, and you will be writing a journal every single Monday to be submitted to me just with your observation, and you would get 2 credits for that. But we have been discussing with Maria in the last few days and with Monica, with the new model in place, we don't know whether we'll be able to apply already this new model by fall 2021 this year. That class observation will not happen anymore, because it would be absolutely needless, a waste of time, because you already go to university and you go to the University of Florence to take a class. Whereas the orientation, it's my understanding, Lisa, that we'll be re-proposing that, because it's just a way to introduce you to the city. It's a 2 weeks mini course with 3 different topics, and they give you just an introduction to some thematic introduction to the city. You take a small exam at the end of those 2 weeks, and you walk around the city, escorted by a faculty. So I don't think it will be cancelled. That I don't know, but that's just my simple understanding. Whereas I'm quite confident that the class observation, it's something that will just a memory of past terms.
Yeah. And I apologize, as we're still working out some of the details. I would say for the plan of study, and because February 1st is coming up quickly, you should be deciding for yourself if you're going to take 2 or 3 Smith Center courses, as Guido described, and then 1 university course, or are you going to take 2 Smith courses and 2 university courses? And I think about it that way in terms of your plan. And then I think the orientation and the other 2 credit courses that we've been offering will just be extra and on top. Okay. Probably some of you will be wondering, how do you find university courses on the University of Florence website? And I don't know, maybe Guido, you can talk about that. Is there a search option? Is it easy to use?
Well, let's be honest. I need to be honest here. I mean, just as all the students coming to Florence learn in a short while, the website of the University of Florence is complicated for Italian students too. So you need our help, and we're there to help. And I usually prepare a list of links for the students to get to the schools and departments. So then we discuss the options, and that's the best way, because if you just leave students the responsibility, ask them just to try to navigate it's complicated, Monica, you can confirm that.
And also the list of courses that will be offered in the fall and in the spring is not available yet.
And that's another issue.
Yeah,
that's another issue. Here in the US,
yeah.
You know, in advance, even 1 term, 1 year, 1 academic year in advance, the courses that the university will be offering. Yeah. Whereas it happened many times that 2 weeks before the beginning of classes, the schedule was already. You knew that the courses would be running, but the schedule, it's, I mean, just the way things work. I don't want to scare you, Gabby, don't be scared. I mean, just something that it's easy to handle once you're here, because we are here. I mean, just we work here, and we navigate in a completely different way. And if you will be struggling, I mean, I use you as an impersonal pronoun. If a student struggles to find, we jump in. We just, we help the student. We just need, well, the only thing we need to know is what is your interest. That's important. Just we need to know. You have to come to us saying, I would like to take a course in at least that. Once we know that, we can just actually help you. But
also, Guido, if there's a student who needs to take a specific course, we can also get in touch with the faculty at the University of Florence and ask if that faculty will offer the course again next year, if the course maybe is offered this year, and we are not sure. We have done this in the past.
Yeah.
So if you have questions and problems, just be in touch with us, because we have good connections at the university and we can ask.
So I also want, I'm sorry, I would like to add that the plan of study that you are preparing now, one of the main purposes is to show your advisor that you will be able to complete your major in spite of spending some time abroad. So that's one thing that you want to show and have the signature from your advisor. But the details, what courses you'll be taking in Florence, just like at Smith, you have a couple of weeks of doing what you call course shopping. You can do, some of that in Florence as well. You kind of have to, because like Guido and Monica said, the university is not revealing all this information yet. So you have to be patient, but you can definitely, I think, Monica and Guido, try and go to a couple of classes of different of the 2-3 courses you're interested in, and then decide after a few days. So for
this is what they usually do, Maria.
Right. So for now, if you want to write University of Florence course, that's good enough for us, for our department, and just make sure that in case it's something you need to complete your major, maybe you want to add UniFi course for major, so that later you can discuss with your advisor to make sure that they will be able to approve it.
Yeah, I would add 2 things. I agree with Maria. It's fine to say University of Florence course. I would like to know the academic area, like so UniFi course in Gov or UniFi course in something like that. Because I'm looking at all of your plan of studies and big picture, and not just Italian studies major. So that's important for sure, and stuff. So making sure is that. The other thing to keep in mind with your plan of study, it is just that it's a plan, right? It's not etched in stone. And it's meant to change over time. So what we're asking students to do by the February 1st deadline is give us a snapshot of what your plan looks like, and stuff. And so think of it in those terms and you'll be fine.
Other questions? Ella.
I have a question about my passport. So my passport expired back in May, I think, and I'm in the process of renewing it. But given I've looked on the website and it says it's going to take 6 or more weeks. So obviously I wouldn't have it back by the February 1st deadline. So should I submit like pictures of my application for renewal or?
No, I think there's a checkbox that says I'm renewing my passport or I don't have a passport. Just check that.
Okay.
Fine.
All right.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Good. Any other question? I then would like to have Lisa and Julia say a few things about whatever. You were there. Is there anything you want to tell our students? Also,
Cat Freddo, maybe.
Yeah.
Cat.
Lisa and Juliet, yeah.
Also, Lisa and Julia, if you could also tell us, I think it's interesting what your other major is, and I know you decided later to add Italian studies as your double major, and how you got to that decision, or why did you decide to study in Florence 2 years ago? What happened when you got there?
Well, I thought I was going to go to Florence from first year because I knew I wanted to study Italian. And so I was kind of looking forward to it for the first 2 years, and it was always my plan. And And I was a math major before I declared a double major, and I made it work that I didn't have to take any math classes because I only went for one semester. But I think several people in the program with me were like finding classes for their other major or just for their one major while they were in Florence, and it worked out well. And then when I got back, well, like last semester, I was like, you know what? Did these Italian classes. I had a really great time, and I'm going to make myself a major, and I'm really happy about it. And yeah, Juliet and I were only there for 6 weeks, which I guess is better than no weeks, but we have a pretty limited experience in terms of the academics because we didn't take a class at the university. We took, I think, 4 just like Smith classes that then ended up being on Zoom. So they were still Italian classes, they just weren't at the University of Florence.
Lisa, do you remember which class had you decided to take? I don't remember now. The university, had you already decided? Had you made this decision?
No, I think I went to a class, but it was too early. It was like the first week. The first week of the university was the week when COVID happened. So
unbelievable, because they had to start university by March the 1st. And it was the very weekend when they had to be relocated. It was very unlucky. You've been so unlucky. I mean, just
Juliet.
Hi everyone. I'm Juliet. I am a double major with Italian and psychology. So I had a similar experience to Lisa in that I didn't come into Smith knowing that I wanted to major in Italian. I knew I wanted to take Italian, and I was also pretty sure that I was gonna go abroad to Florence. I remember actually Lisa and I met first year, and I remember we would like talk to each other about going abroad to Florence, like as little first years, which is funny to think back on. But it's so easy to double major with Italian and something else. I didn't have to take any psych classes while I was in Florence, and I started my psych major sophomore year. So it's really not challenging. You just have to kind of plan ahead and make sure that you're getting all of your requirements done early, and you can kind of do whatever you want with it. I will say that taking Italian and going abroad to Florence has been without a doubt the highlight of my Smith career. So I would really recommend it to anyone who's interested. I know it can feel a little scary. I was a little bit scared before I went for sure, but you get so much out of it, and it's just a great experience.
That was my question for both of you. Because I know a lot of people are very nervous about going, or even before applying, they think, will I be ready? So what do you think? How did it happen? You were there for 6 weeks, but how did you feel when you got there? Did all that you've learned before you left, was it, how was it when you got there and you had to speak Italian?
It was definitely scary. Juliet and I were just talking this week about it, because this week, exactly a year ago, is when we went to Florence, and it's weird to remember it, but definitely at the beginning, well, even before, like the month or two before, both of us were like freaking out and didn't think that we like spoke enough Italian or knew anything or could live in a different country. But it was definitely like we were all in it together. Once we were all in Florence together, there were 9 of us, and Monica and Guido and Pam and everyone who works at the study is so supportive. Everyone's supportive and just like really sweet and friendly and welcoming, and it felt like a little family. And yeah, the Italian part was rough at the beginning, but it definitely got better. And I think even though it was so short, I got kind of like, I realized that I could get a lot better, even though I didn't really have the time to, which is just kind of a nice thing. And I think now I feel just a lot more comfortable speaking in general, having been there, which I'm really grateful for.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think when you first get there, it feels very scary. I'm not going to lie, but that feeling goes away really quickly because you honestly don't even have that much time to be scared, because you're just adapting so quickly and you're learning so much, and you learn so much more in just a day there than you do in the US, because you're around the language all the time. And there's kind of something amazing about studying a language and putting in all this work and then going there and living and breathing that language. It's really the best and kind of the only way to actually gain confidence over it. And like Lisa said, everyone's so supportive at the Sede, and it doesn't really feel, you learn in the Sede, it's such a comfortable environment, and you learn so much that then in those scary moments when you're kind of like out in the city, you feel like you can kind of like take control of those situations and apply the skills that you've learned in that safer little environment. And yeah, I think I gained also, along with Lisa, like so much just confidence in the language and confidence in myself just overall. So I think it's a great learning experience, and it's a great way to push yourself to do something that's scary, but ultimately really rewarding.
Thank you. Kat, before we go, Kat, what a surprise to see you here. Would you like to introduce yourself and say something about your experience?
Yeah, mute.
Oh, you're muted. Okay.
There we go. Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm Kat Freddo. First of all, when I saw this meeting on Instagram, it looked like it was an update on the Sede. So sorry for butting in on your meeting, but I'm so happy to see you all. I did the program just over a decade ago, as much as I hate to admit that. I just finished my PhD in Italian at Johns Hopkins. And let's see. I can confirm a lot of what has been said here. I did the program for a year. One of the reasons I chose Smith to begin with was for this program. I studied Italian language and literature and government came into my dissertation as well. So that was very useful. On what has already been said, Florence is a magical, wonderful place. The Sede is such a welcoming, just full of resources for everything that you need. Guido, I'm sorry that we don't know each other, but I can attest to the fact that Monica is the most Florence-wise, caring, generous person I know. And she is beloved by the communities. She is absolutely beloved, and you will see why. Adjusting to the Florentine University is definitely difficult, but it's worth it. You really acquire some new sorts of study skills, and your language will improve by leaps and bounds. You will be like a sponge to the point that you will sleep well at night because your brain has been cranking all day, just acquiring so much language and so much cultural knowledge and so much history. And Florence will just be part of you. And I can still go back to this day, and Lorenzo, who makes my sandwiches at this little mercato, is still there. And it's one of the best things that you can do with your time. You will learn so much. And I really hope you all just have an incredible time. And I applaud you for being brave enough to go off on the adventure.
Grazie, Kat.
Thank you so much. We haven't
Grazie.
invited her. She just came with by her own initiative. Thank you so much. This is the best testimonial one can hope for.
And I must say she was an excellent student. Katy. So you studied mainly with Giovanna, but she was really good. And we have a famous video of you, something in Florence that you were.
There is. Yeah. There is a video, an old video.
Right. Welcome.
Okay, so what's the time? It's about 5:30. But if you have any last minute questions before we go. But you, of course, you know where to find us. And I don't know, Lisa, Juliet, and Kat, is it okay if they reach out to you to? Okay, thank you.
Of course.
Oh, I would love that. Please do. I'm gonna put my email in the chat because I just graduated, so I'm a lady of leisure right now.
Yeah, I can also put my email in the chat, and I welcome questions from everybody about Florence, about the Italian major, anything at all. You can feel free to email me.
Thank you very much for your kindness, for your availability, as usual.
Very
It's not a
much.
surprise. It does not come as a
Yeah.
surprise from you and Lisa. It's not exactly a surprise.
I wish you could come back to Florence next fall.
Yeah.
Me too.
Make it up.
I
You
would love
deserve
that
to
more than
make it
anything.
up, because I mean, just as I was thinking, I mean, just it was really unjust that you couldn't take the opportunity to just go to the University of Florence and to live the rest of your experience there. I mean, it was really, really unjust, unfair, completely unfair.
They should have a special fund for calling back students and paying them back for the experience that they missed. The
Yeah.
Italian government should give out special fellowships for students who couldn't stay in Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. But anyway, Italy is still there, and hopefully all of us
Yeah.
will be able to fly there again.
It's still here.
Celebrate the 90th anniversary
gonna
in the
say,
spring of 2022.
People will be invited for the 90th anniversary.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
an excellent
yeah.
idea.
Eyes peeled for that.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you so much, everybody. If anybody asks, the recording will be posted right on the Global Center YouTube channel, Lisa, right?
Correct.
So everybody, if anybody asks, you let them know, but of course they can also email us. Enjoy the rest of your interterm if you're taking courses right now.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll see you walking through campus next spring when it gets a little warmer. We'll see. Okay, it was great seeing everybody.
Lisa,
Thanks,
can
Lisa.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
can you
Monica.
maybe host